This is a Princess book review by Sophia Derziotis. The main character in the story is Princess Sultana, and she is a princess in Saudi Arabia. The conflict in the story is how poorly women were treated back then in Saudi Arabia. They were told that men are superior to women, and they even faced a death penalty in planned marriages. Throughout the story, we were introduced to many things women face, but how many women are still facing these same problems? Overview. I really enjoyed the book as we heard a true story from a Saudi woman who faced all of these problems herself. The story started off a little bit slower, in my opinion, as she was kind of setting the scene for the story. But as one thing happened, another followed, and it was very eventful and very upsetting. I thought this book was good, providing information about life in Saudi while focusing on all the harm done to women's lives. My favorite quote was, "I had discovered and exploited Ali's greatest fear." This one was my favorite quotes because Ali is Sultana's brother and she has always been picked on by him, and she has finally found something to use against him. Pros. I felt the story was especially strong in the area of when she describes the things she personally went through and how it affected her. I really enjoyed the parts of the book with humor in them and the fact that it wasn't kept so serious and dark throughout the whole story. Cons. I really enjoyed the book, so I do not have much to say about the book in a negative aspect, although I would have enjoyed the story more maybe if there was a little more I could relate to. For me, I always enjoy stories that I can find something to relate to. Potentially offensive content. There is a lot of sexual interaction talk, but for the most part, I'd say it's pretty censored. The book review. I mostly agreed with the book review, but there were some things I either didn't get or just didn't agree with. I agreed with all of the facts she was stating about the difficulties women face and how it's improving, but not at the legal point yet for women. One thing I really agreed with is when she said, "It is true that education has made a tremendous positive changes to the lives of women in my country, but unfortunately, little has been achieved legally for women." I strongly agree with this quote because although women's lives are changing for the better, they still have to get those rights legally to be completely free. One thing I did not agree with was when she said the narrator, nonetheless, fails sometimes to give a true picture of Saudi Arabia. I don't agree with that statement because I think that just because she says such harsh words and things about Saudi Arabia, with her growing up there, she truly knows how to feel about where she lives. And in conclusion, I would for sure recommend this book to any other reader as it gives a good story on a Saudi princess who has had a very unfortunate life. This book is also very good about going back in time and helping you relive the moment and picture life back then. I'd rate this book 4.5 stars out of 5. It was a good read.